Okay, so in the last lesson, we looked at how to subtract fractions using borrowing when the top numerator is smaller than the bottom numerator. Okay, we're going to go over a few more examples of that, just in case you need a little bit more practice. In this case, looking at this first example, we really need to um, find the LCD first. Okay, we didn't do that in the other examples. So if we look at our denominators, 5 and 3, they're not the same. So we need to start by finding an LCD. Let's find the LCD. Okay. So I'm going to take my 5 and my 3 and find the least common multiple. So I'm going to start with 5 and list the multiples of 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Now I'm going to ask myself, can 3 go into 5? Nope. Can 3 go into 10? Nope. Can 3 go into 15? Yes. So that has to be my LCD. Okay. Now I'm going to make some equivalent fractions. Using my LCD. Okay, so I know that my new denominator has to be 15. Now I'm going to figure out how did the 5 change into a 15? Well, I know that to get 15 from 5, you have to multiply by 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, yes, I have to do the same thing to the top. So 2 times 3 gives me 6. On the bottom, 3 times what gives me 15? Well, I know I have to multiply 3 by 5 to get 15. If I do that to the bottom, to keep the fraction the same, I have to do the same thing to the top. So 1 times 5 gives me 5. So now you can see that my fractions both have the same denominator. And what's more interesting here is that the numerator is bigger on the top than on the bottom. So in this case, we don't really have to rename, which I did not mean, but we'll do the example anyway. So now, since we're subtracting, I'm going to subtract my numerators. 6 minus 5 gives me 1, and my denominator stays the same. On the bottom, or with the whole numbers, 6 minus 1 gives me 5. So I get 6 and 1, 15. Okay, let's try one where we actually have to borrow. Let's do this next one. 4 and 1/4 minus 3 and 1/2. Let's give it a try. First thing that I notice is that my denominators, 4 and 2, are not the same. So I need to start by finding the LCD of 4 and 2. This one you might know off the top of your head. Let's start listing multiples of 4. 4, 8, 12, 16. We'll stop there. That should be enough. Ask yourself, can 2 go into 4? And we know, yes, 2 goes into 4, so our LCD has to be 4. We're going to make equivalent fractions now. So 4 changes into 4 on the top. Well, we don't do anything to that, so that's going to stay as 1, 1/4. On the bottom, 2 changes into 4 by multiplying by 2. If I multiply by 2 on the bottom, I have to do the same to the top. So 1 times 2 gives me 2. Now you can see my top denominator, or my top numerator is smaller than my bottom numerator. So I can't really do that without borrowing. This is where it comes in handy. So I'm going to cross out my 4, borrow 1 from there and make it a 3. That 1 that I borrowed is going to be coming over to help my top numerator get a little bit bigger. So I'm going to be adding on that whole as a fraction. And the easiest denominator to use would be fourths, because we don't want to have to find another LCD. That would be pointless. So let's make it easy and make it fourths. So to get a whole, the whole that we borrowed from over here to be over here, to get a whole from fourths, I need to have all the fourths. So I need to have 4 fourths. That's going to be my whole. Okay, now let's go ahead and add those together. 1 plus 4 gives me 5, and our denominator 4 is going to stay the same. Let's go ahead and rewrite our bottom fraction down here, 2 fourths. Now we can subtract. You can see that we can do 5 minus 2. That will give us 3. And our denominator 4 will stay the same. Let's go ahead and subtract our whole numbers here. 3 minus 3 will give us 0. So we don't need to put it over here. Our answer is 3 fourths. Since that first example was a dud, let's try a new one. Let's do 5 1/3 minus 2 1/2. So the first thing that you do notice is that the denominators are not the same. 3 and 2, we have to change. So let's start listing the multiples of 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. We'll stop there. We have to ask ourselves now, can 2 go into 3? And we know it can't. But we do know that it can go into 6. So 6 has to be our LCD. Let's give both fractions a denominator of 6 now by solving these proportions. On the top, 3 changes into 6. Well, to get 6 from 3, we have to multiply by 2. And if we do that to the bottom, we have to do the same to the top. So 1 times 2 gives us 2. On the bottom, 2 changes into 6 by doing what? Well, we have to multiply by 3 to get 6. If we do the same to the top, we get 3. So now our denominators are the same, but we do notice our numerators, it's not going to work to subtract. So that means since 2 is less than 3, I need to borrow from 5. The 5 becomes a 4, and that 1 that I borrowed has to come over to the other side to make this numerator a little bit bigger so that I can subtract the 3 from it. So I want to add on a fraction to that. Like we were saying, the easiest denominator to use is the same one that you started with, sixths. Okay? You don't want to have to find a new LCD, so let's just use sixths. And if I want to have a whole from that, the whole that I'm borrowing from over here, I need to make it 6 sixths. We need to have all the sixths. So let's go ahead and add those together. 2 plus 6 gives us 8, and our denominator stays the same. Let's go ahead and move this bottom fraction over. 3 sixths. Now we can easily subtract. 8 minus 3 gives us 5, and our denominator stays the same. Let's go and take a look over here at our whole numbers. 4 minus 2 gives us 2, so our answer is 2 5 sixths. Make sure to watch this video over again if you still need help with this.